Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Formal Inquiry Podcast. I am your host, Diego, and today I am joined by my sister. Say hi.
Hey, guys.
What's your name?
My name is Ceci.
That's crazy. You didn't use your legal?
Or Ceci. Formerly known as... No, I'm just kidding.
Formerly known as?
Formerly known as... I don't want my legal. Y'all ain't getting that. Sorry.
I give legal.
I don't like my legal.
Okay, that's fair enough.
It's strictly for business.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See when you're answering phone calls?
Yeah. Strictly for work purposes only.
Yeah. And, so we knew each other because we lived together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, we come, from the same place.
I saw you as an infant. You changed your diapers.
That's gross.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Why'd you do that?
I was just doing what I was told, man.
Oh, man.
I didn't do it very often, though, because it was gross.
I didn't have to change diapers growing up.
I feel like you changed.
I don't think I did.
I think you changed Corbin's diapers. I feel like we all did at least once.
I don't know. I don't remember.
You blocked it out?
I don't know if I blocked it out, but I just don't remember doing it ever.
It's not a good time.
I can't imagine. So
there's this one time, I think Mom and Dad went out to dinner or something. It was like date night. I don't know. But they had me stay home and watch you guys. Okay. Except, you and Donovan were old enough to watch yourselves, basically.
Okay.
But I was basically stuck with Corbin. He was like a baby.
Yeah. And
like still in diapers and stuff. Like still could not walk. Like had to be held. And,
oh, dang.
And I was panicking because I was like, I don't think I'm responsible enough for this. But okay. And
did he go boom boom?
He pooped. And I called Mom, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. And she literally had to walk me through it. She was like...
On the phone?
Yeah. She was like, it's okay. You got this.
Dude, that's crazy.
We're on our way home. But you can't let him sit in it. And that's when I realized I'll never be a mother.
Okay, that's crazy. Actually, what's funny is I think I like gauge like my childhood. This is so weird, actually. It makes no sense. But I think I gauge my childhood by the level of phone that we were at.
That is crazy.
So, what phone did you have when this incident happened?
Well, see, okay, the thing is that growing up...
Growing up.
Back in my day. No. Okay, so I never had like the latest technology.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us did. And maybe you did. But
no.
I did not.
No, I did not.
Okay. So, yeah, I always had an outdated phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was never up to date. So that's why I can't do that. Because everybody had a Razor while I still had a regular, schmigular flip phone.
Well, I know, but
or the little brick Nokia.
But what I'm saying is that like that's how I gauged like at what like stage we were at is by the phones that we were using.
So you remember the phone that you had specifically at a certain time is what you're saying?
Yes, like my own phone, but even like other people, because when you're a kid, you're like, can I play on your phone? You got games on your phone, and so like I gauged it off of like what was the technology that was being used at the time. Like personally, and so like I remember which one was it? It was like the the pink one that flipped up and slid.
I loved that phone.
It slid to do calls and stuff, right? But then you could also flip it up to have like the keypad thing, and it had a digital front screen that was super sick. I remember that phone so fondly because it was so dope.
That was my favorite phone ever. It broke so often.
Yeah, I bet.
And I had the pink one was my favorite. It was pink and white, and it was beautiful and perfect and amazing. Mm-hmm. But I also had 2 blue and black ones because I just loved the flippy up texty part. Yeah. Like it was so fun for me. And then I also had one that actually like slid up, like not a black, like it kind of like a BlackBerry, but not. Mm-hmm. and it slid, and that was my favorite one because it was so fun to play with. And then I remember this stupid kid in my, I think it was science. I think it was my science class. He broke it. And so, like, he was
like
playing
how?
with it. Like, he was playing with it, like, flipping it up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, it, like, got stuck at a certain point. And so, like, it didn't close all the way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was playing with it too aggressively. And, like, the slidey thing didn't slide all the way back down. So, like, it never fully, like the keyboard was, like, poking out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really mad about it.
Why did a boy have your phone?
Why did a boy have my phone, Diego? Let's think about it.
In the middle of science class, why did he have your phone and why was he playing with it? Who does that?
So, I can't...
Was he cute at least?
He was, actually.
Okay.
His name was something with a T. It was like Trevor or Tyler or
Oh, no.
Tristan or... it was something
You're naming, like
that.
the worst teen names right
Yeah,
now.
it was the worst teen names. But he was literally... those names literally described him. He was, like, from Southern California. Spoke like a... like, he served. Like, so, like... literally basic.
Okay.
Like, the definition of basic is what he was. Like, you know, all of those, like Mary Kate and Ashley, or like all of those movies, all of like their love interests, like he would have fit that perfectly.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I had a crush on him.
That makes sense. And that's why you handed him your cool phone for him to play with.
Not just to play with it, but to put his number in it,
and then he kept playing with it afterwards.
Yeah.
So, are you telling me that you were like, "Hey, you want to see my cool phone?"
No, he asked me. He was like, "Let me see your phone." I was like, "For what?" He was like, "I'm gonna put my number in it," and I'm like, "Okay, here you go." And then he put his number in, and he was like, because like he flipped it up, and he was like, "Oh, that's fun." I was like, "I know, I play with it all the time. It's like so fun." And so he started playing with it. Whole thing.
See, I thought for a second you did like a really sick move, and you're like, "Yeah, my phone's really fun to play with. You want to try it?" And you're like, "You can put your number in there while you're just playing with it." I mean,
no, I've never been the one with the riz.
The general topic for today that I invited you here for was because I like to think that you have a very good idea of what it means to be a friend, what it means to be, I guess, someone who cares for another person, and how to do it properly. And I think that, I guess what I want to do is kind of define the idea of friendship and, you know, being in community, having, like, people around you, I guess. Because I think that it's very easy for people to assume that they have a lot of people around them, but when bad things happen and they need friends, there's no one there. And I think that's because no one knows what actual friendship looks like, and they think that the circles they're in, the crowds that they're in, are their friends when they're just kind of people that they hang out with, not actually friends. So, to address this epidemic of the complete lack of actual friends in people's lives, I think it'd be helpful to try to understand what actual friendship, companionship looks like, and not just kind of like this, you know, crowd or friend groups that people tend to be a part of and are sorely lacking in actual human connection.
Yeah, I think that there's a huge difference between a friendship and an acquaintance. And I think those lines are blurred for people. So first, let me start with my definition of a friendship.
Good. Yeah. Good
Okay.
place to start. I like that.
I think that a true friendship is someone who understands you, like, ins and outs, you know, like, and you're able to talk to them and open up to them and really kind of dig deep into the nitty-gritty of who you are, instead of just kind of, like, like expressing yourself and them kind of just filling in the lines of knowing who you are, if that makes sense.
Filling in the lines. So you mean like, because I understand what you're saying, that like you want someone who actually understands you, and that like you can talk about something, and not only can they empathize with your situation, but they also can like form some kind of a like pull on memories from themselves to actually be like, yeah, I get what that is, and I can like even rehash something that happened to me that was similar.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I, like, let's say I'm talking about like a situationship I'm in or something, and I'm talking to my girls about it,
right.
And they're like, and I'm thinking that I'm crazy or I'm doing something wrong, but then they're like, no, girl, like, you are amazing. They're validating me, they're uplifting me, and then they're also saying, like, I've been through something similar, and then we can connect and bond and grow stronger connections in that sense.
What you're elaborating on is the idea of the people that you're around that you would call your friends, right? You personally, at least, are people that, like you said, are validating you, are uplifting you, encouraging you, but are also able to sympathize with your situation, sympathize with what you're going through, what's going on in your life.
And not only just sympathize, but to their core understand it. And like, even if they haven't been through it themselves, they can care for me enough and love me enough to see different perspectives and understand it differently than maybe I can, since I'm in it.
Right.
And then give me feedback on that as well. And I also think friendship is being there through thick and thin regardless. Kind of like, I feel like my friends, I know this is actually really basic, but they say friends are the family that you choose.
No, I actually really like that.
And I believe that to my core. I believe that. And I think that not everybody understands that, because I don't think that, maybe not a lot of people, but some people don't have such a close-knit family where they can talk to each other and express themselves for who they actually are.
Right.
Definition of acquaintance.
Yeah.
Would be someone who you hang out with, but have never really had like a heart-to-heart with.
Okay.
Someone who's just kind of there. I mean, like, they're not just there, but I mean, like, you have like small talk, you can have laughs with each other, joke around, they hang out with the rest of your friends, but you would never like call them if you're going through something.
Yeah. Or
be like, or like even really check up on them. Like, text them and be like, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah,
I feel like an acquaintance is just someone like in my experience, an acquaintance would be someone who just like I used to call them my party friends. Like someone who I would just go to the club with, or someone I would just drink with, or someone I would just, Yeah,
it was always activity based. It was never actually like a personal thing.
Yeah. Like, we would have a good time, like, drinking or, like, dancing at the club together, but, like, there was never, like, a serious bonding moment or, like, I guess you could say holding my hair while I throw up is a bonding moment, but, like, not to an extent where, like, we're best friends.
Yeah, sure. But, no, I think that makes sense. I think most people view, like, the title acquaintance as, like, super harsh. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think, honestly, like, I think that if I thought I was really close with someone and they said, oh, this is my acquaintance, I'd be hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be upset.
Yeah. It's a pretty harsh term. It's like clearly, yeah, we're not friends. I just kind of know them, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think is, like, super harsh, which is why I don't think people like to call people they know acquaintances, because it's, like, really, like, it's like coworker, you know? Like, we're not really cool like that. We just kind of have to be together, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think most people don't, like, distinguish people that they hang out with by, like, friends and acquaintances, you know? They kind of, like, put in a general sense, if I hang out with you, we're friends, you know? And they have, like, good friends and then regular friends and then best friends, but they're all friends.
That's such a crazy concept. I wonder where that stems from. Like, is that just, like the new generation?
I don't know, because I think even growing up, I didn't call a lot of people my friends because I didn't like feel like they were my friends until we like actually liked each other, you know?
Yeah.
And I think the term friend wasn't like bounced around a whole lot either, you know? I feel like there might have been even like a part of it where like, oh, like these guys are my friends, you know. I think like Blue's Clues or something, you know, where like it's a letter from our friends, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, Steve, you don't know these kids, like they're just sending you fan mail, like they don't actually know you. Those are not your friends, bro. Like, shut up.
What do you mean? He's my friend.
He's not your friend. He doesn't know you.
He does know me.
No, he doesn't.
Yes.
No.
He lets me vent to him on TikTok.
He does do that. It's pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. But like, that's what I'm saying, is that I think I don't know if we've just like inflated the word friend to mean something that I don't think it means, but I definitely do think that I've always had I've held the term friend in very high regard, always. Like, we're not friends until we're tight like that. You know, I'm not going to call you my friend until we're actually at that level. You know,
I think that happened with me with age. Like, I think, like, as a kid, like in like elementary school, everybody was your friend.
Right.
You know, kindergarten, everybody was your friend.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to be nice to our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, and like, even I feel like in high school, like even like people that were like acquaintances were my friends. You know? Like, because like I had a huge friend group. See, there we go again.
Friend group. Gross.
See?
I hate that term.
Yeah. And we were friends. And most of those people, I don't think I ever had like a deep conversation with.
But you would call them your friends.
But I would call them my friends. And I don't think until adulthood is when I was like, yeah, no, you're not my friend.
Interesting. So you feel like you like grew into this like harsh definition of what a friend really is.
I wouldn't say harsh definition. I would say correct definition.
Whoa, dang. Sure. Okay, we can call it. We use whatever adjective you want to use, but I think
that is crazy, but true. It's crazy, but true.
But I think there is something that's interesting about that. How, I mean, of course, when you're younger, you're not gonna know, good friends because you're young and stupid, right? But I do think that it's interesting that there is like a certain turning point where you start to want quality friendships and not just a lot of friendships.
Yeah.
And I think that that's definitely part of it's part of growing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you don't want a friend group anymore because you realize that's kind of just stupid, and you don't care about these people and they don't care about you, and what you want is actual connection with people. And so you're not looking for like the crowd or like the party life or the friend group. You're looking for actual friends, and
the extended family.
Yeah, the extended family that we're talking about, right? And I think that that's why we're so like harsh on like, I'm not going to call you my friend because you're not. Like I don't just throw that word around,
Like I love you.
Yeah, like I don't, bro. Whoa. We ain't cool like that. Don't call me your friend. It's so funny. Actually, I think I have there's this guy at work. He's like one of like the warehouse leads, and he's one of the few guys that I've actually been able to talk to. because my job is dumb and everyone there is dumb. But anyways, he's one of the few guys that are kind of all right. And so we've talked about different things, and there was like a time where he would like walk up to me and say, "Hey, what's up, best friend?" Just like that. He'd be like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" Like he would do stuff like that all the time, and I'm like, "Hey," because I didn't call him friend back. I didn't say buddy back because I'm like, we're not like that, dude. Like I see you at work. I don't even have your number. Like,
oof. Like
we're not cool like that. Like, yeah, we can joke around at work because you're the only person that I think can actually handle a joke. But like, we're not cool like that. And so I never reciprocate the calling of a friend. And so it is kind of a lot like I love you. Like, you don't just throw that around to anybody. You know, it's for people that you actually mean it. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that we kind of agree on the idea that friends it's a hefty title. Like, it means something. I don't.
Just had a completely different train of thought.
Okay.
Switching it up. I really want to understand like a different perspective.
Okay.
You know, like the people who just throw friend around, or the people who think they're best friends with someone and they've never had like an emotional connection with them and just see them whenever they're around and never really like have like an actual real conversation with them. Yeah. How, like, what is their thought process, and what makes them think that they're friends or that they're best friends?
I think I mean, it's interesting because I don't think either of us can really give insight to that. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it'd be cool if we could try and kind of put ourselves in a different pair of shoes, or someone else's shoes. How does the saying go? Yeah. Put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah, that's
the one.
I mean, I got it either way.
Put ourselves in a different pair of shoes.
I mean, it would probably be a different pair, wouldn't it? Than your shoes, than your pair of shoes.
True.
So you're not wrong.
Yeah, okay.
I'm with you. Anyways. I was tracking.
Shoes?
Oh my gosh, shoes? Wow.
But yeah, I think it'd be cool for us to see a different point of view.
Okay.
Since you're saying, like, you know, we agree on this point of view, and so it's kind of like bias for us to be like, yeah, you're bias.
Right. We're just right.
You know?
Okay, so try to think of because I think I've got something. Try to think of if you're someone who doesn't hold friendship in such a high regard, what's your motivation for friendship? I would say that I think that part of it might just be like a grammar thing, you know. Yeah, I think it might just be like no one thinks about what the word means sort of deal. And so I think they might just throw the title around because they're just kind of willy-nilly with it, right? And that might be part of it. But I think another thing, it might be just like friendflation, you know? Friendflation, okay? Walk with me down the road, okay? I think that a lot of people are in several different circles, right? Where they're not only just at, you know, their work circle. They're at their school circle. They're at their, you know, people they grew up with. They have, you know, like their, you know, chess club or whatever, you know, activity they're involved with, you know, knitting, whatever. I don't know. I think most people have multiple avenues and streams of people they can talk with and, you know, conversate and share ideas and, you know, share hobbies and things like that and things they have in common. I think most people have multiple areas where they can do that. And I also think that because that happens and most people don't have this idea of, like, you gotta have really tight people with you and not just, like, 100 people with you. Most people are like, no, I want to amass as many connections as possible, as many, you know, valuable people as possible, and they're more about like the networking aspect than they are really about the friendship aspect. And so I think people use the term friend and use the term buddy, you know, to make themselves more appealing so that they can amass more people in their lives.
Do you think it's like they need more validation from other people?
Yes and no. I think there's definitely part of it is validation, but I think another part is just biological. I think that humans aren't meant to be by themselves, and it's unnatural for us to be by ourselves. And so they just feel more comfortable when there's more people around them. And I think that it's better to have people that you're familiar with than people that you're unfamiliar with.
I think that also could be a psychological thing where it's like you're so scared to be alone.
Yeah.
That you need to have a million people that you call your friend.
Yeah.
So that you always have a backup for the backup for the backup.
Right.
You know, so that you'll never be alone with your own thoughts or your own feelings.
Yeah.
But also counteract that. That's really unhealthy.
Yeah. Is it?
I think so. I think that if you can't sit with your own emotions and your own feelings and you're constantly having to get validation from other people and other things and you can't get that from yourself, that's a problem.
I think being able to sit with yourself is a good skill to have.
Yeah.
Right? But I also think being a loner is also its own problem.
No, yeah, 100%. I'm saying there's definitely a happy medium. There's definitely a balance
for sure
that needs to occur. But like what we're saying, like the person who calls everybody friend is there, let's say this is the only reason, which it's not, but they're doing it for basically outsourcing validation.
Yeah.
And not having validation within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And on our side, we are getting validation from people who mean the most to us.
Yeah.
And care for us.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still seeking that same validation.
Right.
You know?
We're just seeking it with, I think it's the quality quantity thing.
Yeah,
right? Exactly. Where we're like, yeah, we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to seek out people that care about us, right? But I think that people have amassed different strategies to gain that validation. And I think that's the difference that we're kind of talking about here, is that it's just a different strategy to achieve the same goal. And I think the argument is, like, what's a better strategy, right? Is it better for somebody to just try to network and, get as many people as possible? Or, why are you mouthing words?
Sorry.
I'm dyslexic. I can't.
I'm sorry. Continue. I was just saying that point was beautiful, and I really think that you should keep going.
Okay.
Because that was immaculate.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but what I was saying is that I think that people are trying to gain the validation that they want to get out of life, which we're all trying to do, which is, having people around us that care for us, that we can care for them, and there's that the interdependence that we're trying to gain in what is actually a big part of joy and happiness and a successful, fulfilling life, is that we are helping people and people are helping us. That's the basis of what makes a good life and what is a good human connection. And I think that we have just learned differently due to whatever our upbringing was, or how we've learned, to be the best way to amass people into our lives. It's just different strategies. And I think that, call it childhood trauma, call it whatever you want, but I think that people have just figured out that this works for me, and so I'm going to keep doing it that way, because I've been able to get this many friends, and I know this guy who can work on my car, and I know this guy who can, help me with this, and I know this guy who's done this, and this guy who does this, and it's like, their life is good because they have all these people. And I think that in the case of us, where we're like, I don't really like people like that sometimes. People are kind of gross, and I'd rather just have people in my life that I think are core and valuable, and I'd rather keep my circle small and just have people that I think genuinely care about me, rather than have people that I think could help me.
So to counteract that, for me, when somebody has never-ending cycle of different people that they're really close with, and then they're no longer close with them. Like, let's say, like, you see on someone's story, they're always with these specific people.
Right.
And then they're no longer, then you continue watch this person's story, but they're no longer with those same group of people, and they're on to the next. That to me is a red flag in a person.
Why?
Because I feel like if you can't keep people that clearly you look close with, then why would I invest my time to be close with you if you can't keep people around you? And like the story thing was just like an example.
Sure.
You know, I'm not going to base a friendship on watching someone's story. That's ridiculous. But I just mean in general, like if I'm an outsider spectating on someone else's life and I see them hanging out with people and then like really hardcore heavy and they're saying these are my best friends, and then 2 weeks later they're no longer friends, I'm like, okay, what did you do?
Right.
You know? And I don't want to involve myself in that.
Right. You know, that does make... I'm with you on that, actually. I think that there's certain qualities about people that make them... That make them worthy of, you know, pursuing friendship, pursuing connection with them. I think that's definitely part of how we have learned to amass people into our lives, that we're not going to bother with people that we don't deem worthy of friendship. And I think with people that, like you say, are kind of like friend group bouncy almost, you know, where they're like around this group for a little bit and they're around this group for a little bit, and it's almost like their passions change depending on who they're around. I think for that's kind of the bigger thing for me. I don't mind if you have different people you're hanging out with, depending on, you know, the situation, like whatever, you know, like I get it. People have different hobbies, you know. I have friends that play video games, and I also have friends that I can't think of another thing that I do right now. I have friends that play video games, and I have friends that rather, you know, go outside and hike, right? And those two worlds don't usually collide, and so it's okay for me to kind of jump around in that matter. But I think that there's an issue when when you're not truly getting involved with people, and you're instead using a friend group to just pass the time, or fill a void, or you know, explore a hobby. You know, I feel like that kind of stuff, it's shallow, and it makes for Facebook friends, you know, where it's people that like, oh, like you were like, you felt super close with for like a month or two, and then you guys stopped doing the same thing and you never talk to each other again, you know, and then, you know, 5 years later you see they have a kid and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, like, but you know nothing about their life if it wasn't for social media. And so I think that a lot of people tend to kind of have like touch-based friendships, where if it's convenient for them, or if they're involved in the same things that they're involved with, then it's really easy to be friends with them. But as soon as those conveniences or those situations are no longer present, so is the friendship. And I to me, that's icky and gross.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I really want to understand that, because that just like, because I think for me personally, I feel like if I'm, any of my time is like
so valuable.
It's so valuable, and it's not only that, but like the energy that I have to give to people, like, man,
it takes a lot of work sometimes.
It takes
a
lot out of me.
Yeah.
And if it's only because we're in a book club, and I'm gonna put in that energy and effort, and then a month later we're not gonna speak,
that's a wasted month, man.
That's a waste of my time. That's a waste of my energy. That's a waste of my heart.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it.
I feel that way about work friends, you know? Like, I still to this day, I have people that I felt like we were close, when I was working with them. But then, like, you know, they quit, got fired, whatever happened, right? As soon as the separation happened, it's like, we never talk anymore. I have no idea what they're doing anymore. And if it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't even know what was going on at all, right? And I don't know. I think I don't feel icky about those relationships, because I think what I like about the kind of touch-based relationships that I've had is that at the very least, I at least feel like I was able to make an impact, and they definitely impacted my life. And so as much as I'm still kind of like sorrowful that I can't be friends with them anymore, I'm still very grateful for what we were able to do together, regardless. And so maybe that's like an argument for it's okay to have touch-based relationships.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, okay. I've had a lot of friends come and go in my life, and like best friends. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's just like, it's true. You grow up and you grow apart.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's like really the only people that have stayed in my life are still in my life, you know, and there's a reason for that, and it's work. It's like a relationship, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a marriage. It's like my best friend lives 3,000 miles away, and we still have time to talk. And sometimes we don't talk for months on end. Yeah. You know, but when we talk, we just pick right back up. Yeah. And it's like no time has left, and you know, and it just, we make it work somehow, some way. We make it work. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes either it's not worth it working, or putting in the work, or it's just that you're in a place in your life where you no longer have anything in common with this person, or, you know, something happens where you don't click anymore, or something gets in the way, you know, like in your situation, you no longer work together. And so it's like, when do you have the time to see them or hang out with them or talk with them?
Right. It becomes too much effort at that point.
Yeah. And if it's not worth the effort, then it fizzles out. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that the relationship you had prior to it fizzling out didn't mean anything. Sure. Like all of my really close friends that I no longer speak to, I'm so grateful for those relationships, and I still appreciate those relationships. However, I do also appreciate that I no longer have those relationships. But I mean, you know, it's all a learning experience. Sure. And you know, same thing with even like intimate relationships. Like I'll never regret an ex, because you learn so much and you grow so much. It's the same with friendships. Yeah. There's always something to learn, even if the outcome is really negative or upsetting or uncomfortable. There's always something good that comes out of it.
Yeah. I think that I don't really have a big issue with like I guess like the mourning of things. I feel like because if like bad things happen in a friendship, like you got to just kind of get over it, you know. Like,
so you've never mourned a friendship?
Oh no, I have.
Okay.
I definitely have. I just okay. So I don't know. There's like different degrees, you know. I feel like, but like the example I'm thinking of right now is my best friend. I would hang with him all the time. You know, we would go get food together. We'd go do this together, and then the dude messed around and got married, and so now it's like really hard for us to get together and do stuff. You know, because he's got a wife, and unfortunately, I'm not priority. Yeah. And so it hasn't changed our friendship, but it has definitely made it harder for us to regularly talk and catch up with each other and do things together because he's got priorities. And I understand that. I'm not mad about it. She's so great. She is so amazing.
We weren't talking about her.
Anyways, I just know that it's become harder, and I know that I miss the times where we were able to spontaneously just go and do things, you know, without a second thought, right? and we can't do that kind of stuff anymore. And so there's that kind of aspect where I'm like, yeah, that like it's almost like part of the things we would do together no longer. I just can't do them anymore, you know. Or like other friendships, like I was talking about, like the spotty ones, like the ones from work, where I felt like we did things outside of work together. We talked about real things with each other. You know, we were able to bond over things. I learned things from these people, you know, through them talking and them sharing their experiences. I asked for advice from these people. You know, like I felt like we had a good relationship. But as soon as the, you know, working together stopped, so did the friendship. And those are the sorts of things that I feel like I had to mourn, because I was like, dude, like, they're just like, poof, they're gone. And I felt like we were cool. You know, that was a cool person that I missed in my life. And so I think that the problem that kind of happens from really wanting, like we're saying, like those like really core, deep, and intentional friendships is that we're loving people really hard. You know,
oh yeah, 100%.
when we're choosing, like, this is a person that I think is worth investing in, we're loving really hard.
Yeah,
you know, and unfortunately, like we were saying, not everybody views friendship the same way that we do.
Yeah. And
so when we're putting the friendship title on these people, but they're not reciprocating the friendship title, it sounds like a breakup, you know? I'm thinking about it.
I mean, it kind of is.
But like when that kind of, you know, that kind of feeling isn't reciprocated, literally, it's
the same thing.
It is
like,
the
I
same
mean, it's
thing.
not, but it is.
It is. It's just not as intense.
Like relationship, friendship. It's in the title.
Yeah, they're both ships.
They're both ships that eventually come crashing down into the sea.
Freaking Titanic. Yeah, I you know, when that thing isn't reciprocated, it hurts when you put such a high value on it, you know? And so I can see for somebody who doesn't put a high value on friendship and is doing the same things that we'd be doing, but isn't putting this person on a certain title pedestal, or isn't investing in this person in the same way that we are. That means that once the time is up, they're like, okay, whatever. You know, it was nice, and they can just they don't need to mourn the friendship, because to them, friendship is just friendship. You know? And so...
But I think there's also people who don't understand either of those concepts. I think there are people who genuinely believe that they have this tight-knit, close, best friend, friends forever relationship with people who they've only been surface level with.
That sucks. Sorry. That's the thing I can think of right now. But it does suck. I'm just saying. Wow. I mean, you're not wrong. People definitely have to experience that kind of a level of, like, there is no substance to a friendship. It really is just situational. And you say to somebody who is feeling that kind of way, where they feel like they don't have any friendships, you know, shallow or otherwise. You know, if somebody came up to you and was like, you know, I just feel lonely because, you know, I don't know how to, you know, reach out to people, and no one reaches out to me. I just feel like people that I know, that's it. I just know them by name. Like, what do I do?
I think I would have them listen to this podcast.
And the plug. By the way, you should listen to this podcast. I did. It's the Formal Inquiry, and you should listen to it. We had an episode on friendships, actually.
Yeah, I think it would really give you some good insight on how to be a friend and how not to be a friend, how to be an acquaintance and how to be a friend. It'll really enlighten you. I promise.
So I think what would be helpful, actually, is if we try to, like, maybe hash out more like the qualities and character traits, maybe, because I think we've done a really good job at defining, like, what a friendship is, what an acquaintanceship is, and how people have interacted with friendships and how they view them. But, like, what does it take? What does it take to be a friend? I don't know why I said it like that. I feel like it was necessary.
A lot. Like I said before, it's work.
Yeah.
Like a relationship, it is work. Like a marriage, it is work. you have to both want to make it work. Like I said, with my best friend, 3,000 miles away, we make it work somehow. I don't know how, but we're making it work, and it works. And I love her with every piece of my being, and, you know, she feels the same way about me, and it's amazing. And I just no, I'm just kidding. I was gonna start crying if I kept going, but I stopped myself.
Good job.
For example, I was giving my best friend advice on navigating a situation with her boyfriend, and he was really upset at a situation that happened outside of their relationship, and then started to kind of take it out on her. And so I was telling her, like, hey, I know that you get really defensive and upset when someone attacks you.
Yeah.
So let's ring that in a little bit, because he's not actually mad at you. He's mad at this other person. And just because you're there, that's why he's lashing out on you, because he can't lash out at this other person.
Yeah.
So how about you just have a conversation with him and say, like, I understand you're upset. You have every reason to be upset, but you're not upset at me.
So don't take it out.
So don't take it out on me.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. I'm supporting you, you know? Instead of her being defensive and creating an argument with him and having them butt heads when he's already butting heads with somebody else.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think it's that kind of love and compassion towards somebody that is like a core value in a friendship. Being able to take yourself and them and like your feelings about the situation and their feelings about the situation and give them the best advice possible to help them. You know, and I think especially when I was younger, I think that instead of doing that, I would just take my friend's side fully and be like, yeah, he's wrong, you're right, and why, and he, you know?
Yeah.
But now I think it's so much more important to instead give constructive advice and constructive criticism instead of just fueling the fire, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you're already upset, why am I gonna, as your friend, I'm gonna sit here and be like, yeah, here's some gasoline, you know? Instead, here's some water, and
calm down, buddy.
yeah, and here's a solution, you know? And you don't have to take my advice. You don't have to do what I'm telling you. But here you go. Here's some outside perspective.
Right. Yeah. I think there's actually, hold on, because you said that you had to learn to actually want to fix the problem, and instead of like how you would just kind of take their side and fuel the fire, as you said, right? What do you think was your motivation to just kind of take your friend's side instead of actually thinking about it for yourself? What was your motivation to just take their side and just support them wholeheartedly?
It was definitely still out of love. You know, I think it was definitely wanting to advocate for them. I think it still came from the same place, but I think just with age and maturing and more knowledge of how relationships kind of work, and what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I think it's just learning. It's just growing. It's just maturing. Really.
Can I tell you what I think? I think that there's a basis to what everybody believes friendship to be, and I think that basis can become inflated to make people act irrationally. Because I think the basis of every single friendship that has ever existed is the idea of mutual respect and loyalty. I think that's the basis of friendship. I don't think it has anything to do with common interests or anything to do with, like, we look the same, or we do the same things, or we like the same things, or we talk about the same things. I think those things help you form friendships because there's familiarity, but I think the basis of friendships is respect and loyalty. And I think that because that is the underlying foundation of what a friendship actually is, that when we are young, immature, and don't understand what an actual friendship is, we just take that and push it to 100. We take what loyalty is, and we're like, that means if friendship is loyalty and loyalty is friendship, that means in order for me to be a good friend and to love this person like a good friend should, I just need to be loyal. Mm-hmm. I don't need to have a brain. I don't need to think. I don't need to help them. What I need to do is remain loyal no matter what. And I think a lot of people think that's what friendship is that it's just loyalty. Is that it's just, I see you and you're right every single time. Every single time you're correct because you're my friend and I'm loyal to you, nobody else. And as good as a quality loyalty is, it has a fault when you take it to an extreme, when you're not willing to see somebody else's flaws. I see it all the time where I think a good quality that you were talking about is, like, validating people's emotions and things like that, and, encouraging them. And those are good things, right? But I think those things stem from love and loyalty. But I think if you take it to an extreme and that's all you do, that means even when someone's being an idiot in front of you, you're going to be like, go off, sis, like, that's you, queen, and that kind of stuff irks me. Not because I hate those words so much, but mostly because it's like, they're being an idiot right in front of you and you're not telling them they're being an idiot, And it's because you have this idea that friendship is loyalty and there's nothing else that has to do with it. And I think that's a really big problem. Because you can't just expect to have close friendships if all you do is agree with them. You know? Like, there has to be some kind of point of contention, They're not going to be right all the time, and you're not going to be right all the time. And I don't know about you, but I'd much rather have friends around me that are going to point out when I'm being an idiot. They're going to tell me when I'm wrong, right? I had this dude, so crazy. Didn't plan this, but literally today, the same coworker I was talking about, me and my other coworker, we were working on stuff, and this dude comes up and he's like the other coworker that I was working with, he was talking about like how like we couldn't find something at work, and he's like, yeah, it's just not going to work. We can't do it, and so this other guy that thinks we're really close friends for some reason, he's like, dude, you hang out with this guy? And I'm like, yeah, he's alright, I guess. And he's like, he's just so negative all the time. And I'm like, I'd rather somebody be truthful to me, than anything else. And I was like, your best friend stab you in the front and your enemy stab you in the back. I'd rather get stabbed in the front, personally. And he was like, why do you want to get stabbed at all? I'm like, because I'm wrong sometimes. Like, what do you mean? And he's like, nah, my friends help me all the time. My friends are always there, linking arms with me. We're gonna go do this. We're gonna go fight my enemies. And I'm like, yes, but also you're missing the point. The point is sometimes I'm my own enemy because I'm kicking myself in the face and I don't even realize it.
Yeah. And
so I need somebody who's harsh enough, who loves me enough to say, hey, dude, what you're doing is dumb. And I need you to stop doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of what I think actually loving somebody is and what actual friendship is. Because if all we're doing is just validating people and being loyal to, you know, their side or their opinion, then we're just creating like a, you know, a stupid vacuum chamber where we're always right and everybody else is wrong. You know, it's like the stupid like best friend tropes, you know, like in like the Mean Girls, you know, like Regina's always right and she can never be wrong. Yeah. And, you know, Tweedledee and Tweedledum are just agreeing with her 24/7. You know, like that doesn't help anybody. It helps
with everything. There's a balance. There's a happy medium. But I'll still kill anybody.
What?
I'll kill anybody for any of my friends. I will take a bullet for them. I will kill for them. If they kill somebody and call me and they're like, hey, I need help, I'm there.
I'm like, I'm bringing a shovel. We're hiding the body.
We're using your car, though, because my car is too nice for blood.
He wouldn't fit in the trunk anyway.
But no,
for legal reasons, that is a joke.
For legal reasons, I don't even have a nice car.
For legal reasons? Oh, man. Do you think maybe it's just like a skewed view of what loyalty actually is?
What do you mean? Because
I agree with what you're saying. Like, even though I'm going to tell you to your face that you're wrong, I'm still for you, and I'm still riding with you, and I'm still going to stand by you. Like, that's still loyalty, even though I'm going to stab you in the face.
That's a crazy...
Okay, I'm using a really harsh analogy here. I'm sorry. Yeah. Should I use something different?
Yeah.
Okay, even though I'm pinching you?
Even though I am telling you the real raw truth.
Okay, even though I'm hurting your feelings right now with my words.
Well, no, because I think there's...
I'm telling you you're wrong.
Well, no, there's a way to say that someone is wrong in a nice, loving way.
Sure, but you're still telling them you're wrong.
Yeah, but I'm not outright saying you're a dumb bee.
Oh, maybe that's just...
And... you need to get it together or this, and this is going to happen, but I love you. You know, like, that's crazy.
I think maybe I'm just really blunt.
Yeah.
Have I done that to you before?
Yes, and I cried. But there are ways, like, you can say, like how I said, you know, he's not mad at you. Look, I know you can be... defensive when you get mad. I know you. I love you. I care about you. But instead of doing this, maybe you should try this.
Yeah, I think you're just a lot better at, like, buttering people up than I am.
Can I say, I'm the cherry on top this Sunday.
Yeah, I'm just the brick that flies through the window. I don't know what it is, man. Like, I definitely get what you're saying, that there is time to, like, be gentle and, like, to, like, ease into it.
I think also, though... I think it's okay for men to be blunt and to the point because that's what you guys expect from each other. Yeah. And that's what you expect. You don't want someone to come up beside you and be like, it's okay, sweetie. You're kind of obnoxious, but someone will love you. You know what I mean? But like...
I would think that person hates me if they said that to my face.
Oh. Okay, maybe
like,
that wasn't...
I think you're obnoxious, but it's okay.
Okay, maybe you're a little loud right now. And...
it still feels demeaning.
Okay, well, now how I'm saying it, yes, it feels demeaning because I am being that. But anyways, I think men are way more to the point.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you don't need reassurance because I feel like men are so much more secure in how people feel about them, or wait, that was bad.
No, I'm gonna let you keep going. It's okay.
So like if it was like you and me, like, you know, I love you.
I hope so.
And so, You know that I love you.
I know.
You know.
I know.
And so if I were to come to you and say, hey, you're kind of being a jerk right now, you'd take a step back and be like,
oh man,
am I being a jerk right now? Instead of, what the heck? You know? And I think with girls, our feelings are so much more.
Yeah.
And we need a lot more validation and reassurance.
I want to think of like an example. I want like an example right now of like how we have like interacted before, of like either like how like you've been good at like being like gentle, or I've been good at being blunt, or vice versa. There has to be like it happens often enough.
Okay.
That I feel like we could think of something.
I have an example for you.
Okay, good, go for it.
So we were shopping for camping.
Oh, I know the story.
And you were not doing well.
I was tired.
Pissed off at everybody.
Yes.
And basically throwing a temper tantrum in the middle of Walmart.
Okay. Temper tantrum is a little heavy there.
Okay, an adult temper tantrum.
It was not adult temper tantrum either. I was a little peeved, and I was kind of hanging out by myself a little bit while all my siblings and my father were trying to grocery shop, and we're getting nothing done. So I was a little peeved.
But basically...
I wasn't on the ground.
Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe that was a little dramatic.
Thank you. Yes.
But, so basically, I saw that you were upset.
Yes.
And I already knew why you were upset.
Uh-huh.
And so I took you to the side while we were at checkout, and I was like, hey, you know, you can't control everything. And, you know, we're all adults now, and Dad's here, and he's still kind of, you know, the head of this, even though we're adults.
Mm-hmm.
And just be loosey-goosey and go with the flow, you know?
And I will say that did help my psyche in the moment, but I will say that we still had problems at the camping trip regarding the food situation. But
I don't remember that.
that's neither here. You were a little off the easy during the camping trip.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how much of that you remember.
I honestly not a lot.
Okay, yeah. See,
I was down in the dumps. I was down bad.
But that actually is a good example. She found ways to help me in the moment.
Instead of calling you a crybaby at.
Yeah, because 100%, I'll be real with you, dude. If you straight up went up to me and were like, suck it up, buttercup. Or like, we're like, are you really acting like a 5-year-old right now in the middle of Walmart? We're just trying to shop and have a good time. Be happy. You know, I would have been like, shut up, Mom. And like stormed out. You know, I would have been so pissed. So there is virtue, definitely, to, you know, being more gentle-handed with it and not pointing out the obvious flaw of a person. I get you there. And now I need to think of something to validate the way that I do things. I want to think of like a really specific example because that was really good. You got me, man. You got me. It's not fair. I'm trying to think of like a good like example where I was like, dude, shut up, you're being an idiot. I know there's so many times I'm trying to think like a specific one.
The funny thing is that most of the time I come to you and ask you.
Yeah.
Because I know you're going to be so for real with me, and I need to be like punched real quick in the face with words. And so I'm like, hey Diego, am I being an idiot? And you're like, yep, here you go.
You're
boom.
An idiot. Yeah. I do that a lot actually. I think there was. Oh, here, I'll do this one. So there was a time where you were really trying to get a lid on your finances, and you were talking about how, like, you wanted to save money, how you wanted to, get a new car, and all this kind of stuff, and you were, like, planning, like, you're like, eventually after, like, the car situation is fixed, I want to, like, try to, like, move out to a different place so I can have my own space and do this kind of stuff, and I was like, okay, cool. I listened to you, but then afterwards I was like, okay, do you know how much you spend on a regular basis? And you were like, no. And I'm like, okay. Do you save at all? And you're like, no. And I'm like, okay. What do you think you spend your money on? And you're like, I have no idea. I was like, okay, let's take a look at your bank statements. And the amount of, like, the amount of shopping you did, I was about to throw up. I was like, dude, how do you spend so much money at Marshall's and online shopping on Shein? How is that even possible?
It's to fill a void.
But I was flabbergasted at the dollar amount that you were spending. And I think I remember easily being like, Ceci, it's simple. You spend too much money, you're not going to save money. It's not that hard, sweetheart. You just need to stop spending so much money on stupid stuff that you're not even using. You have trash bags full of clothes that you've worn a couple times. You don't need it. You don't need it.
I do.
You don't. You don't. And what happened? What happened? After that conversation where I was like, dude, it's easy. You could set up automatic transactions to save money and just stop shopping.
You want to know something?
What?
So, when I got laid off, I stopped the automatic transactions, right?
Yeah.
Because I no longer had money coming in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Move to savings.
Makes sense, yeah.
And I haven't put them back on, and I've just been shopping again.
Don't put your hand out to shake. Are you kidding me?
Okay, look.
Are we doing this right now? Am I going to be harsh right now?
Yes.
Right now? Okay,
Yeah.
go.
Actually, no, please don't.
No, go ahead.
But,
No,
ew, I don't like how you just, the evil
No,
in your,
go ahead.
no, the evil lip twitch and the eyes.
Lip twitch?
I don't know, your lip twitched, it was freaky.
No, go ahead. No, it's okay.
I'm actually going to see myself out. Thank you so much for listening to the formal inquiry. This is Ceci signing out.
She didn't get up.
My foot is asleep. Yeah, no, I don't actually want to talk about this anymore.
That's fair. No, that's so fair. Regardless, she did start saving money, and she, at least for a time, stopped. You don't online shop like that anymore, though. Okay, never mind. So I guess when I do it, it doesn't work, unfortunately.
It did for a little bit. But then my life crumbled.
Well, see, now mine sounds worse than yours does.
What do you mean?
My method. It sounds worse.
Yeah, because your method doesn't work.
Yeah, huh?
I mean, maybe for dudes, but not for girls.
You should suck it up, man.
Oh, yeah, just suck it up. How about you? How about you?
I try to. Sometimes I get really irritated.
Maybe just stop being a baby.
Not the inside jokes. I don't remember how we got to this point.
Honestly, I don't either. But you wanted examples.
I did want examples.
Because
and now I look like a bad person.
Well, I mean,
dude. I'm only blunt because I care.
No, yeah, that's what we were doing. We were comparing and contrasting how we. Wait, that's not what it was. I was gonna say how we both care for other people, but that's not what it was.
How we give advice.
It was yeah.
Or how we try to correct people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I was saying I do it in a more, like, gentle approach, and you were saying you're more blunt with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have time. It's not that I don't have time. I don't got the patience to be nice all the time.
I just feel like, because I think my reasons behind it are because I know I'm sensitive Like, I'm such a crybaby, and my feelings get hurt so easily that even though I'm saying something that I know can potentially hurt another person's feelings, because I love you, I know I need to say it, but also because I love you, I'm going to say it in a loving way instead of just outright saying, hey, you're being dumb. I'm going to say, hey, maybe that's not the greatest way to approach the situation, and give you examples and a better
that makes sense. I mean, I think my motivation is, I think part of it is because it's not that I'm incapable of being nicer. I feel like I've done it before.
Not necessarily being nicer, just being gentler.
Yeah, I don't think I'm incapable of being gentle with my words. I think I definitely can if I really tried. Just like, calm things down and just more, instead of just trying to instantly just give the solution, more kind of tease out, understand what it is a person is going through, and really get to the bottom of things rather than just being like, okay, problem, solution. Like, I know I can do that. And I think that I just default to problem solution because in my brain it's just simpler.
Yeah.
And also,
that's a man's perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I know that's masculine energy in me, but I think the other part of it is that I think I know for myself that if I was being stupid, I'd rather you just tell me. Because as much as I know that I can still be sensitive, I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to be viewed as negative. And so if I'm doing something wrong, tell me. And I think that when there's a certain amount of potential like miscommunication that can happen when you don't just outright say what the problem is, because if you're trying to be gentle and you're like, not really like beating around the bush, but like, using like alternative language, to try to get to the issue, at least to me, I feel like it could be misconstrued as to what the problem actually is, unless you just say, hey, you're being annoying. And you need to just stop. I feel like there's no way you could misconstrue what I'm trying to tell you if I just tell you.
Yeah, that's true. I do think that even for me, like, I think it is hard to find the right words in taking the gentle approach. But also I think that it is more effective because I think people are more receptive to what you're telling them when it's in a gentle, loving way. I think that if you're blunt and like straight to the point, it might come off as an attack or as too forceful, and that might make people defensive and quick to react. And so, and I also think, I think it also kind of stems from trauma on my end on why I take the gentle approach, because I think that I think when I was just saying exactly how I feel, exactly how like it immediately came out of my mouth, it wasn't taken how it was supposed to be. And so I then had to learn to better express how I was feeling and how I was trying to solve a problem.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And honestly, I think that I recently kind of gained that communication skill where I can express how I'm feeling or how I feel someone should like handle their problem.
Yeah.
Oh, I just lost my train of thought.
You're trying to understand where somebody else is feeling?
Oh, dude, it's gone.
It's gone?
It's gone.
Man, I was with you.
I feel like my brain is mush now. I don't know what happened.
Well, I guess something that I was thinking about while you were talking was that, like, I think that, you know, there are times, it's really not a good thought, but I'm going to say it anyways. There are times where I feel like people that have your kind of strategy of, like, explaining things very thoroughly in hopes that you just understand them better, or that, like, I'm going to, like, word vomit, and I'm going to give you as much information as possible, and I'm going to give you all the details in hopes that you can understand it to the best of your ability and be able to empathize with what I'm trying to communicate, right? So I'm going to give you everything all at once. And there are times where I view that and I'm just like, okay, that's a lot of information.
You could have just said the one thing and
you
we would have been done.
You could have just said the one thing and could have been done here, but here I am standing here for 5 minutes listening to you vomit. So there are times where I'm like, I get it that the added explanations are necessary, but sometimes, like, you know how when sometimes people are like, so this crazy thing happened today, and they give you like the loop de loop around here, and then back to here and back to here, and you're like, okay, where are we going?
That's literally how I tell all of my stories.
I wasn't gonna say that, but you do that. I feel like
I have to tell you what I ate for breakfast, how the toast was toasted,
yep.
And then I get to the juicy part of the story.
Yeah, you have to say. So yeah, I tried to toast my bread, and then it wasn't toasted all the way, so I had to put it back in the toaster. And while it was toasting the second time, I went and did this, and it's just like, why are we going like in 7 different directions? Where's the plot line? Like where are we going right now?
It's part of the story.
It's so not part of the story.
I don't need you to read me for filth right now. It's part of the story.
I just think sometimes details are good. Other times they're unnecessary details. They should just be trimmed off so that we can just get to the point.
I like details. When I ask you how your day is, I don't want good. I want this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, and then, oh, I did this and this and this.
Yeah, I never do that. I never do that.
Despicable.
I always just say, yeah, it was alright. And if I get pressed for, like, more details, I'm like, I mean, this happened today. I guess that was the highlight. I don't... There are just so many things that I feel like are just, like, useless. And I don't think they're necessary. You know? Like, there's so many things that happen that, like, I don't care enough to, like, rehash or to remember them. Why would I care enough to even tell you about it?
Hear me out.
Hearing.
People...
Are you about to have a really long story right now?
I sure am.
Oh, no.
Buckle up.
We're going to be here for, like, another 20 minutes.
I think that people who genuinely love and care about you want to know every detail.
Now you're guilt tripping me.
And your genuine friendships and connections want to know all of that. And that's where we wrap it. I'm just kidding.
What? Okay. No, I think that there is definitely, I mean... I'm going to say about, like, that's just how some people show that they care about you. Right? But I don't like it.
I mean, okay, hear me out.
Hearing out. Again.
I was talking to a friend about, like, what has been going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't spoken in a minute. And so I was saying, like, you know, I'm just tired of, like, censoring myself and not being able to, like, stick up for myself in a way that I feel like I need to. And I started telling stories about, like, what had been going on, like, throughout that week. And I was telling a specific story about, like, work and how, like, I broke character and how I, like, basically yelled at some guy on the phone. And, like, I told a story about mom and how, like, we got into a little fight and how, like, I never really fight with her because I try not to because not a good time. And then after I was done saying all that, he was like, do you realize how every story you just told me is you sticking up for yourself? And I was like, like, literally, I was like, I love you. Like, I love you so much. Like, that is crazy. Like, I didn't even realize that. And, like, thank you so much for bringing that to light because that's insane.
I didn't realize it while you were saying it, but it's so obvious.
And, like, though, like, that's the kind of thing. Like, that's how someone can, like, show you that they care. They're just listening to you vomit about your life.
And they put them together.
And then they put your problem and your life together and they're like, hey, you solved it, baby. You did your big one. And I'm like,
realize it, yeah. You're spiraling.
Yeah.
No.
And you see? You see? Tell your stories.
My stories are so
Tell
boring.
them. I thought mine were too. And I thought I was just complaining and talking someone's ear off who didn't care.
Dude, that's what I hate so much. I hate being viewed as like a complaining person. Like
But see, the thing is,
so hard,
is that
man.
No, but the people that care about you and love you, they're not going to view it as you complaining. Well, if you're saying maybe they don't really care about you,
I think that it's an attitude thing. I think that there's definitely a way to talk about things that are going on without you complaining, per se. And I think that I don't know. I think I might just attract people that are just like as like blunt as I am, maybe. But probably. But I think that it's like it's hard for me because I want to be the type of person that is like, yeah, I can listen to you all day long, and I'm gonna give you the straight up like, yeah, I'm listening to you, and you're right or you're wrong, right? Like, I can do that, but when it comes to me being the type of person, the type of friend, so we're not going too far off track here, the type of friend that is like, yeah, I want to tell you about this thing, you know, and not really getting anything like from it or out of it, just like, no, I want to just tell you about it because it's on my mind. You're my friend. I trust you, and I want to tell you. I don't know. That's kind of odd to me, almost. But I think I'm trying to do it more. I think I'm even like before this, I'm like aware that I don't do that very often because I have some idea in my mind that I'm just complaining because my problems aren't as important as other people's problems. And so, automatically, I'm just annoying. If I have a problem, I gotta deal with it. And I think I'm aware of that, and so I'm, like, trying to more regularly to be like, hey, guys, by the way, this is happening. You know, more like unprompted, almost. Because I know people that are like that, like, but do it really, like, in a very annoying way. You know, ever like talk to somebody who like just kind of just like talks about things unprompted?
Yeah. And
they're just like like ranting off about like this thing that happened today in their life and this thing that happened like last week, and like, oh, by the way, I'm doing this in case you guys wanted to know about it. And it's just like, nobody asked. You know? Like, I want to say nobody asked so bad, but I don't. Because that's just how some people just process things differently. And I guess for me, I don't process things with other people. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I process things by myself. And so it feels kind of weird to be like, I want to include you in the understanding of this situation process. That feels weird to me. But I also understand what you're saying, that like it's valuable to have somebody else's perspective, because you're only going to understand so much.
The qualities of being a good friend is like being there for them, you know? And I think that it definitely has to go both ways. You know, I think that in order for someone to feel comfortable opening up to you, you also have to open up to them. Like, it has to be reciprocated in a sense. And I think that in order to create those strong connections, you both have to be capable of doing that, I guess. I don't think that's the wording I want to use, but
it makes sense. I mean, you can't expect somebody to feel as close to you as you feel to them if you don't both do the same things for each other.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm willing to admit that I'm not right. You know, I think it's pretty clear I'm not doing the right things here. It's just like it's a thing that I'm aware of, that I'm trying to figure out how to do without feeling like I'm like forcing myself almost, you know, because the last thing I want to do is be, you know, disingenuine, right? I don't want to be like, hey, I'm going to talk about something, but I really don't want to talk about it. You know, I think what I'm trying to do more is like, if I feel like I want to talk about it, I'm not going to allow myself to just be like, no, shut up. You know, 'cause that's what I'm used to doing. Is like, oh, like I have a thought, or like, ooh, this thing came to my mind, and I think this person could like have good insight. My instant reaction is like, no, don't talk about it. They don't need to know. They don't need your problems. You know, that's my instant response is no, they don't need that. Right? That's not the time. Wrong time, right? But wrong place. Like I give myself excuses like, just don't repress, right? And so I'm at least trying to, whenever those kinds of things pop up where I could unprompted share something or ask for a favor or ask for advice, and just like, if it pops up, just let it happen.
Yeah.
You know, because I think that's the problem, is that some people are really good at just being like, yeah, this happened, by the way. You know, some people are even annoying when they do it. And some of us, me, are really good at just being like, yeah, you guys can talk all you want. And I'll just listen, and maybe I'll give you some input. But you ain't gonna listen to me ranting about my day, ranting about my problems. Like, nah, bro.
That's so crazy, because I feel like an example that I thought of was like, when someone asked me how my day was, like, I go in, you know? And like how you were saying, like, when someone asks you how your day is,
just dismiss it.
It's just good.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if someone's texting me like, oh, how you been? I'm
paragraph time.
Literally paragraph. Or I'm calling them and I'm like,
this would have been taking way too long to type.
Yeah, this is, are you ready? You asked.
You asked.
So, you know? Like, that's my, like, that's my go. You know? If you're gonna ask me that, then buckle up.
Right.
You know? Like, I would never just, like, someone's having a conversation with me about the weather, and I'm like, oh, you know, today I almost fell into a puddle, and I cried. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that, but, like, when someone asks you how you're doing, tell them how you're doing.
Yeah.
You know? Like, be real, be raw, be truthful. Of course, if it's something that you're comfortable with, you know, don't push yourself out of your comfort zone, of course. But, like,
yeah,
if you have people that are asking and that care, take advantage of it. Because it is helpful, it is useful to get a different perspective. And like how we were saying, how we wanted to kind of put ourselves in someone else's shoes on the whole friendship thing. It's the same concept of being able to get a different perspective on your problems and it's also good to kind of get out of your head about it and either have someone kind of change your perspective or agree with you and be like, you know what, yeah. Like how I was saying about how, like, with, like, my whole situationship thing, like, with my girls, and I'm like, you know, this happened, and they either validate me, or they're like, yeah, no, you should run for the hills, you know? And it's those kinds of conversations that not only help you kind of work through your own problems, and also get out of your head, because I know our heads are, like, literally like the worst enemy, you know, sometimes at least. And
it's a counsel that's trying to bring you down.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so helpful to get an outside perspective so that you can kind of come back down to earth, you know, and not be up here kind of literally driving yourself crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think, I definitely see the value in it, and I think that, I do it with specific people for sure. Like, but even then, like, same thing, like, my best friend has a really good habit of just saying, hey, what's been going on lately? You know? And it's such an open-ended question that I'm like, even still, like, oh, how do I answer that? Like, what do I choose to share? Because, you know, like, as soon as somebody asks you, like, how are you doing? Or, like, what's been going on lately? Like, 4 things pop in your brain, right? And you're like, okay, which one do I talk about? Right? And so, I think even then, even with somebody, like, I trust, like, yeah, like, I tell them anything and everything, and I'm not ashamed, or, nor do I feel like they're gonna look at me differently. Like, I'm not, there's no, like, fear there. There's just, like, an instant, like, I don't even know, like, what to talk about right now. Like, what do I do? I'm almost, like, stunned still at the idea that, like, oh, I have to share something right now. And so, I don't know. I mean, I do it, but even then, there is still, like, that internal, like, oh, what do I share? And I start to think about, like, oh, like, should I share something, like, serious, or share something kind of lighthearted? Should I, like, I don't know, you know? And so, I don't know, it's so difficult for me, because it's unnatural for me to just be, not necessarily, like, to be open, but I guess to, unprompted, just talk about, what my thoughts are on something, or things that have been going on, because I still just have that idea of, I guess, like, I don't know, I just feel like a burden. Like, there's no better way for me to put it. Because I know what it's like to, you know, deal with several people's issues at once, and feeling like you need to solve it, or fix it, or do those sorts of things, or even just, like, be around people. And the last thing I want to do is add a problem to somebody else's plate, you know? And I know that's irrational. Like, totally irrational, because, first of all, my problems aren't that big of a deal, and also, it's not like everybody takes on the same, that's not how I want to say that. It's not like everybody views their friends' issues as their own problems.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's irrational for me to think, yeah, if I share something, it's going to become their problem now. Like, that's not how it works. And I don't know why I think that way still, because I can say that with a straight face. You can't see my face right now. But I can say it with a straight face, knowing that I know that I'm stupid for thinking this way, but I can't seem to shake that habit of, dude, like, I don't want to share things with you. I just dropped my Post-it notes. What are these called? Sticky notes. They're called sticky notes. Post-its?
Post-its are the brand.
It's the brand. Say that with the same intonation. I wanted us to have, like, a sibling moment. It didn't work.
we said, huh?
Yeah, but it didn't sound the same.
I'm a girl.
Oh, my bad.
We are brothers.
We are brothers. Yeah, I cannot shake the idea of I'm somehow a burden to people, even though I know I'm not.
You need therapy. I'm just kidding.
I think I just need practice. And like I said, I'm trying to just, when things pop up, just say it. You know? Because they don't pop up very often. And so, if it pops up, it popped in your brain for a reason. Just talk about it.
I think also what might help you is, this sounds very therapy, but you can kind of say, like, are you in a place where I can vent? Or, like, is it okay if I vent? You know? Like, if someone asks you how have things been going, or what's been going on, or how are you, be like, you know...
Do you actually want to know? Because that's how I feel sometimes, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you could even say that, like, do you want to dive in?
Do you really want to get into this right now? Because I got some stuff to talk about.
So that it doesn't feel, like, out of left field. Because I can see how, like... Because, like, I'm just like that naturally.
Sure.
So, like, the people that know me, like, as soon as they ask me, how are you? They're going to hear how I am.
Yeah.
You know? And so I can understand if that's not how people know you, then it can be awkward to just kind of jump into that.
Yeah.
So I think maybe just kind of asking for permission,
right, in
a sense,
yeah.
Or at least notifying, you know.
I'm gonna warn you right now. I'm about to dump.
yeah. And I think that's it's also being really respectful too, you know.
Yeah.
Because like how you're saying, like, you know, sometimes people can't handle it. Yeah. You know, sometimes people are going through their own things and really can't, like, handle anything else. And so I think especially, like, with my friends who I know that are, like, going through it, like, before I even, like, talk to them, I'm like, hey, how you feeling? Like, you know, is there anything you need to talk about? You know, kind of thing, kind of checking in.
Yeah.
And then also, like, once we have that conversation and they're like, yeah, I'm not really doing too well, and they tell me how they're feeling, then I'm like, can I tell you what's been going on, or can you not handle it? You know? Just to make sure that the communication is there.
Right, and being considerate.
And being considerate and aware of other people and their feelings.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is communication is key.
Yeah.
And that's so generic, but it's very, very true. And I think it's something that everybody in any kind of relationship, friendship, intimate relationship, marriage, whatever the case is, I think that is the biggest thing that can any relationship. And I think something that we should really highlight is that friendships are relationships.
Yeah.
And they basically all are the same.
Just varying intensities. You might add or subtract a couple things in there.
A couple.
Yo, whoa. Pause.
But yeah. And people that you keep close to you care about you and love you just as much as you care and love about them. That basically everything that you're giving to them, they are willing to reciprocate. So with you being there for people and letting people vent and talking to them and helping them with their problems, people who love you and care about you are going to do the same.
Yeah. And
to understand that regardless of you feeling like a burden or chips are give and take.
Yeah. and you gotta communicate. And I think communication is something that is not challenging for me, but I think language is what's challenging for me sometimes, because something I remembered, by the way, what I was thinking of was that I think that some people like ask like how are you doing as a formality, not as an actual question.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think part of my like adversity to sharing things about myself is that like when somebody asks like how are you doing or how are you, I'm like, do you actually want to know? Because that's like a greeting almost to some people, you know?
I think the severity of the relationship kind of is based on that. I mean, not based on it, but that wasn't worded right at all. No,
but I got you, though.
I don't think anybody else is on this train, just us.
So, the level of relationship that you're at kind of, like, dictates what that question really means.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was trying to say, but I did not say that.
No, you didn't. But I got you. As soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, I'm right there. Yeah, yeah.
Because we are brothers.
We are brothers. We are one.
But yeah, and so I think that, you know, if you have that connection with someone and they ask you how you are, they genuinely want to know how you are.
Right.
If your acquaintance is asking you how you are, they're expecting a good.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
All right. Works all right. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm just working.
Just working, you know? Working for the man. What can I say?
The weather's great today.
Clocking in, clocking out. What can I say? It's almost Friday. I hate that junk so much.
God, it's almost Friday.
It is almost Friday. We're recording on Thursday. Yeah. That kind of stuff is annoying to me, though. I dislike when people say things they don't mean.
Yeah, I agree. I hate small talk.
I hate small talk. I hate acquaintanceships. I don't like having people in my life that feel like they can talk to me when they don't want to. You know, I feel it's that's what I'm saying. When I said this before, that I hate being disingenuous.
Yeah.
You know, I hate it so much with a passion. I hate it when I come off that way, and I hate it when people do that to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's so annoying. Like, don't pretend like you care.
Yeah.
You know, don't pretend. Because if you cared, you would care. You know? Don't do the song and dance, you know? And don't like, say the things you're supposed to say or whatever. Like, if you would care, you'd care. You know? You said before that friends are like extended family, the family that you choose, right? And I like that a lot. I think the only like toast that I've memorized is here's the family that we were born with and the family that we met along the way. I think that's a beautiful way of stating that we have people that we're born with that we love and cherish, and we have people that we, even after that we've met, that we cherish the same way. And so I love the idea that you mentioned before about how we choose our friends. We don't choose our family, but we can choose friends to be like family. Mm-hmm. And I think that is really beautiful. And I guess I kind of want to explore that vocabulary almost a little bit more, because I think words are very important. Like we were just talking about how, like, you know, mean what you say. You know, don't like pretend to care. You know, don't give me the small talk stupidness. You know, don't ask me how I'm doing if you don't want to know how I'm actually doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I think the way that we use the term family is different than other people use the term family. It's just like we use the term friend differently. And so, like, how does the, like, family to friend relation, like, correlation work out in your brain?
I don't understand the question.
I'll say that differently. If your friends are the family you choose, right? Mm-hmm. You with me so far?
Yes.
If your friends are the family that you choose, how do your friends correlate or relate to your actual family? Because imagine somebody listening to our conversation right now who is like, your friends are your family. What? You know, my family is just the people I see on the holidays. You know, somebody who doesn't have a high family value or somebody who doesn't have a high friend value wouldn't understand that correlation we're making.
Got it.
And so how would you describe that kind of correlation? What does that correlation really mean?
Well, so I think first we should start with defining what family means for us. And I think it's having each other's backs and loving each other unconditionally and being there for each other. And I think our family specifically, we actually enjoy being together.
Wild, guys.
Like, I mean, there are times where we don't, for sure. But I mean, we definitely, we make it work. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, like, again, like how I was saying, relationships, we make it work, and we communicate and figure it out. Yeah. And even through all of that, even when we argue, even when we fight, even when there's strife, mm-hmm. we still love each other unconditionally. And we know that regardless of what happens, this is forever. Yeah. This is solid, and nothing is ever going to change that.
Mm-hmm. What does Dad always say? You don't know what he always says?
No.
You don't know what he always says?
He says a lot.
He does say a lot. But
actually, that man doesn't talk a lot.
But specifically about family, he's got a lot to say. He's got a lot to say about family. I think something that he's always said this since childhood, and he's repeated it several times, and I think he's really good at his, like proverbs, you know? Like, he has, like, a couple, like, phrases that are, like dad proverbs, you know?
The only one that sticks with me is, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are.
That's such a good one! Dude, that dude is so smart, man. You know what's funny is
I literally said that to Ashley the other day.
And you got like, a big, like, whoa, that's good, right?
No.
It's a good quote, dude. It's a good quote. It's a good dad quote.
But what's funny is, actually, Grandma said that.
I call it a dad quote.
I mean, it is a dad quote now, but Grandma said that to Dad. And now he said it to us, which I think is crazy.
Crazy. Generational wisdom. Come on. But the one that I'm talking about is he does this whenever he talks about he talks about eventually when Mom and Dad aren't here anymore, we have to take care of each other, right? I remember, like, when I was like super young. Like,
that's crazy.
Like 5 years old or something like that, dude. Like, I was super young when I first heard this. But he says something like, because, you know, like me and Donovan, we fought a lot.
Yeah. When
we were younger, like a lot, and so every time we would fight, we would have to make up, right? And I would get the same speech from Dad every single time, like, you guys can't fight each other, you're brothers, you have to love each other, take care of each other, you know. And when it was super serious, he would drop the, when your mom and me are gone, you guys are all you have. You have to look out for each other. And so that's kind of why it stuck with me. Because when I'm choking out my brother on the ground, and then my dad tells me, you gotta love that kid more than you love yourself, it sticks with you a little bit. And so what he would say, he would say that at the end of the day, all you have is familia. At the end of the day, all you have is familia.
This sounds like a sitcom.
I know, right? But I love it so much. It's a dadism. It's a proverb quote. I love them.
Welcome to the Formal Inquiry podcast, where we brag about how great our lives are and how our family is literally like a ABC sitcom. And we have the greatest lives ever. And you're jealous that our parents are still married and love each other.
Whoa, okay,
and yours got divorced.
Whoa. Okay, I'm not cutting that out. I'm leaving that. That's freaking hilarious. That's a good one. This is not a flex.
Moral of the story, we are very privileged.
It's just my experience. It's just my experience that I was raised to have a high core family value. My dad's Mexican. What'd you expect? You know?
Well, no. Okay, look.
Okay. Stereotypically.
Not even stereotypically. But, you know, we are very, very, very blessed to have such a loving family and to have loving parents and to have such a tight-knit family and to have aunts that care about us and cousins that we love like siblings,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's really, really rare, and it is a blessing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that because we have such a high view and value on what family really is, I think it just means that the friends that we choose are so much more. I think we're really picky with friends because since we have such a high view of what family is,
Yeah.
my friend's got to be on par with that.
Yeah.
You know?
And we've had such good examples on what love looks and feels like.
Yeah.
That I think that we're also looking for that
Mm-hmm.
in friends and in relationships, and I think also that means that we ourselves are really good at showing love.
We try to. Sometimes we suck.
I mean, yeah, so does everybody. I mean, nobody's perfect, but I mean, like, you know, we still have those core values.
Yeah.
Are instilled in us from birth, basically.
Since birth. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Since birth, brother.
I can't.
It's not Tuesday. But no, I think that we have such a high view on family, and so when we're looking for friends, we are looking for people that maybe aren't like literally like family like that. Because I don't think any of us have friends that we have like kind of brought in to the family like that. Because, you know, like I'm using the sitcom thing again, but like, you know how like in sitcoms where like there's the family, but then there's like the main character's best friend that's always at their house.
Yeah.
You know, that's like basically a member of the family, and they have like one episode where they're like, "Oh yeah, you're part of the family" or whatever. Like
well,
we don't do that really.
It's also because this house is so small.
This is a small house.
And there's so many of us
There's a lot
that
of us.
there's no room to have people here. Like, and our house was never like...
It was never the pad.
Yeah, it was never the chill house. It was never the
never.
let's hang out at my house.
We always had friends with bigger houses.
Yeah, we always had friends with bigger houses and friends with less siblings and less people.
Yeah.
Where it was more convenient to go to their house. Like, there's no room for anybody here.
Yeah,
and
it's tough.
there's always something going on at our house. Like, it's never quiet. It's never like
That's so true. Actually.
Never peaceful.
It's so hard for me to record here, dude. It is so hard.
I'm surprised it's been quiet for this long.
I don't know. Dad's not home.
Oof.
Dad's away. Thing up.
Communication is key.
Communication is key. All friendships are relationships and should be treated the same way as any other relationship for it to work properly. Don't be a jerk.
Be self-aware.
Be self-aware. Care about other people, genuinely.
Yeah.
You know, don't be fake about it. Don't just be like, you know, nitty-gritty stuff. Actually care about people. Reach out and don't be afraid to open up. Ask for help. Pointing at myself right now.
Genuine for people. Don't expect what you don't put out.
That's a good one.
And Barbie girl.
Okay. I didn't need you to give me like a Hannah Montana speech at the very end of this. I'm surprised we never even mentioned that song.
Wow.
Is it called True Friends? True Friend? Much for watching this episode of the Formal Inquiry podcast. It's been a good conversation that we've had about just friendships, relationships, how we can be better friends and even look for better friends. If you guys like this episode, please give it a like and a share. Make sure you guys are following us on Instagram at the Formal Inquiry Podcast. You can also see us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple iTunes, and one more that I can't remember right now. But, YouTube. That's the one. yeah, check out the YouTube because I might be doing some new stuff going forward. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys for listening in to our conversation, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Also, follow on TikTok.
Oh yeah, follow the TikTok.